What?
Almsgiving. Yeah. Cool. What? Dude, my whole days are just completely. I can't do this. I got. Yeah.
You're like, yeah. Day one. Yes. And one. I'm here with the vocation office director. It's like a reporter, dude. You're like recording. That's what he looked like.
It's been so funny. It's funny because the last video we did, we had the big mic and it's like, I wonder what the next show's gonna be like. Oh my gosh, that killed me, man. Cool. Where are we at in my days? That's what I was saying. My days are all messed up. Where are we at in the what day? Today's Friday.
Yeah, Friday, second week of Lent.
Second week of Lent. Okay. Whoa, I thought it was third week already.
No, second week.
Bummer. All right, cool. How we doing, everyone? We are second week of Lent, Friday. Feeling good. And today we're going to just talk to you guys about quick little topic of a quick topic, but an important topic.
Oh, very important for sure. Without this, we can't survive.
Yeah. And that topic is almsgiving. I'm just going to let you kind of kick it off there, Father.
Yeah, almsgiving is very important. Of course, there's three modes or three methods in this time of Lent in order for us to grow closer to the Lord Jesus Christ, right? So there's prayer, there's fasting, and there's almsgiving.
Yes.
Right? And so a lot of times we focus on prayer and fasting, but people forget almsgiving.
Right? Yeah, it is kind of funny. I think people get... It's the stepchild of the three.
Yeah.
But it's just I think people get so concerned about the fasting. If I had to pick one, I'd say people get concerned about the fasting because it's such a, and I look at it and I'm like, maybe it's because, it's very prideful, somewhat even a self-indulging thing of like, that's the one that makes you really kind of, quote unquote, suffer. I think more than the other three, because prayer, spending time with God, great. Almsgiving, that's giving yourself to whatever another, or in a way of giving away food to a homeless person, giving away cash to someone that's more in need than you. But then that fasting one is more inner, I feel like.
Yeah, and it seems like with fasting and prayer, it's focused on the self.
Yeah.
Right? Even though you're focused on God, of course, that's the intent, is to grow closer to not yourself, but to grow closer to God and other people. And a lot of times I think like almsgiving is ignored because it's hard for people to give, right? Yeah. Whether it be time, gifts, or talents. And a lot of times, like you see it in church, right? Nowadays, they're still giving $1, right? Yeah. You give like $5, like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. No, it's not.
I'm so guilty of that. It's unreal.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have cash,
Yeah, that's true too.
They need to think of a new way to maybe do that.
Zelle, Venmo.
Like put little QR codes in the pew or something.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a cool idea.
That's true. Well, they have the automatic pay these days, right? So on a monthly basis, you just got to subscribe to it.
Yeah.
But it's a process of subscribing that sucks.
Yeah.
We live in a lazy culture.
Yeah, definitely.
At times, I just want convenience.
Well, yeah, because the convenience benefits both people. I mean,
exactly.
Speaking of a QR code in a pew at a church, I mean, that's benefiting the church really, because people are gonna go. But I guess you're now pulling out your phone and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of negatives with that. I think I'm going to stop talking.
I really think they should install tap Apple Pays, like in every pew.
Yeah,
you just tap your card and it goes, ching, and then you get $20.
Makes that noise and everything.
Yeah, it makes a noise. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Or even like confessionals. The thing about your penance is to pay $20 or something. I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm just kidding.
Nice tip.
That's right. Just kidding. Not.
A penance tip. That's cool.
Well, yeah, back to almsgiving.
Yeah, what are your just a quick question for both of us, I guess, but what would be what's your favorite form of almsgiving?
My favorite form of almsgiving is really giving to the poor.
Yeah.
And even Jesus Christ says, when you pray, close the door and pray in secret and in silence, because you pray in secret and your Father hears you, right? And you're already gifted. And then it's saying when you give alms, don't go into the street corners and be like, hey, I'm giving alms. And, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
Yeah, I love that.
Right?
I love that saying.
I reflect on that many times. What does it mean by don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing? What do you think?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What does that mean?
I think sometimes it's because, I mean, looking at my own life, I would say like my brain or just, my being in itself, like I'm always wanting to go, go do something random day, wake up, there's a plan for that day. And it's like, I think there's a better way. How do I word this? It's good to know, like not know what the other side of yourself is doing sometimes. I think that other side is going to lead to something less fruitful, something less fulfilling. So I think sometimes not focusing on that side, but like, not, what is it? Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So like that right hand of my life in that day, maybe wanting to go do something else, not give my time, don't pray, in that morning, don't give my time to God, holy hour of the day. And it's like, I think that left side is sticking in that routine. So I think if you're not, I'm not making any sense right now, but
No, you make sense.
it makes sense. I'm trying to like elaborate more when it's more simply of just staying focused on that one goal and, that right side maybe wanting to go do something else, but not letting each other, not letting those two sides of your life know what each other are doing. I think you stay focused on a better thing throughout the day. I don't know if that makes any sense. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, I would say what you're saying is like, don't allow your mind to get in the way of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know if that's what you're saying.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, because my brain, goes
don't think too
40,
much.
exactly, like what's happening right now. Like my brain wants to go to 5,000 different thoughts instead of just, staying on that one thought that's more important, which is, God, which is love, throughout the day.
Yeah, because how many times do you like pass by a homeless person or a person in need and you're already thinking like, man, I really want to help that person.
Yeah.
Right. But your body is like resistant.
And you go through all the different little reasons why you can't help them today.
Yeah.
I
In like 1 second.
I'm so
in 1
bad.
second, dude.
I'm so bad. Sometimes I'll like be in the car and you like see the homeless person on there and you're kind of looking around your car like, what can I give them? But then there's nothing in there. And you're just like, there's nothing I can just give them right now. But instead it's like, why am I always jumping to a materialistic thing when instead I could just roll down the window and just like give them just a quick little moment of just speech, just quick moment of just like, hey, I acknowledge you, but I don't have any, it's just like, unfortunately I don't have anything to give you, but but I don't know if they'd get mad at that or not.
And how do you like go outside of yourself and say, okay, let's stop thinking about these things. Like, let's really help. Right. Recently, I went to mass at Outlet Assumption in San Bernardino. There was this homeless guy sleeping early in the morning. It was like 7 a.m. in the morning. And I was passing by going to church to celebrate mass, of course. And then after mass, I went to Farmer's Boys. This Farmer's Boys, like maybe 3 blocks down. And then I got myself a omelet egg with some hash browns. Right. And all of a sudden, when I came to the window to get my food, they said, oh, that'd be $50. What, $50 for a 3 omelets, egg, and a hash brown? And then I paid $50 without just, whatever, maybe she.
You are wild. Yeah. I would have lost it.
So what happened was that she thought I had said 3 of the 3 omelet, eggs, and hash browns.
Oh my God.
So she gave me 3, and I gave there was 2 left. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, God, what do you want me to do with this extra 2 in my car? I'm not a glut, right? I'm not going to eat all of this right now, maybe later, but not right now.
I'm going to sporadically eat it throughout my day.
That's right. It's too
much
early.
healthier.
It's early. So in that moment, I thought to myself, I did see that homeless person earlier. And I felt like you were calling me to help him. So I drove over there. I was wondering, like, where did I see this person? Where did I see this brother of mine, right? And so I drove down there, and all of a sudden, he was, like, close by the gates of the underpass. And then I stopped my car around the corner, and I brought the 2 trays of eggs and omelets and hash browns. And I walked over. I said, hey, sir. And then, he was kind of shocked. He's like, what happened, And I gave it. I said, hey, good morning. I really wanted you to have these omelets and these hash browns because you're probably hungry, right? And he said, oh, thank you, brother. Thank you very much. And I prayed for him. I said, I'm going to pray for you, and I hope that your day is better, but hopefully this brings you a little bit of joy in your life. Right? And so I think that's awesome. What it means by don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Is like, stop thinking too much. Right?
Yeah, it's just keep
There's
it simple.
so many opportunities for us to help and serve, but sometimes you're like all these excuses.
These sporadic moves. I think I look at it as sporadic. Like one side of me wants to just be sporadic and go do. It's like almost biting off too much than you can chew sometimes. And instead of just like keeping it simple in your brain and just like knocking out some random act of kindness. That's all. That's it.
Yeah, and that's really our true nature, right? God created
Yeah.
us to love. God
Yeah.
created us in love, to love, for love.
I think it's sad that, like, when you tell me that story, it's like the homeless guy's like first reaction is kind of like I'm in someone's way, or like, I need to get out of here. Because I noticed that when I worked down in an office down in downtown Redlands, there's always a group of homeless people that are kind of around that area, obviously, but we go through a back door. And like at that back door, there's always there's a nice little awning of it. So there's usually a homeless person kind of just chilling there, trying to just like, especially if it's raining, trying to stay dry for the day. And they just, someone walks up to that door and they immediately just like feel like they have to just get up and move and all these things. And it's like, it's funny that they just feel like they have to be out of the world's way, society's way. And it's like, you are part of this world. I think people forget that, homeless people are homeless people. They're just here. There's nothing we can do about it. They're here, but what can we do about it? We can love them. We can, again, acknowledge them just to make sure that they know that there is love out there still. They were dealt obviously some heavy cards. So it's like the least we can do is love.
Most definitely. And why do we see them as a homeless person and not as a brother or sister or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we say, oh, that's my brother suffering?
I love
my sister suffering.
There's a line in a song that says that it's arms wide for a harmless savior, but arms crossed for your homeless neighbor. I love that line. It's so good. It's so powerful, It's just like, and look how Jesus came to us as just everyone looked, Jesus of Nazareth, and they just think because Nazareth was kind of a lower class place, everyone kind of looked at him a little differently sometimes, and it's like, who knows? When Jesus comes back, I mean, I don't think he will come as a homeless person, but it's like, who knows? Maybe he will,
Yeah. Even Matthew 25 says, what you did to the least of my brothers and sisters, you did unto me.
Yeah.
Right? So he is within the homeless. He's in every one of us, but most especially the poorest of the poor.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Right. And so why don't we see it that way? Even when he was born here on this earth, in actuality, was he homeless? Because this is his home.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went was his home because he created it. So I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. Was he homeless? No, we're homeless.
We are. That's
We're
beautiful.
homeless.
Wow. Right? Oh my gosh. That was strong. That is strong. That is strong.
Think about it.
Our souls are looking for a home all the time.
We're homeless, dude.
We're homeless, dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because our
that is
our
so
home
good.
Is in
Wow.
heaven, yeah.
You are a wise man.
I know. It's the coffee in the morning. It's the cup of Joe.
Yeah. Too bad.
So really, God calls us to come home to him, right? And how do we come home to him is through love. Like, that's his language. His language is love.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you hear God? Love.
That's so good. It's so simple. Like, you can't even build on that. It's just like, that is just the phrase, It's just so nice.
I think a lot of times we're also waiting for love, right? A lot of times like, oh, I didn't experience love today. I'm waiting for somebody to love me.
Yes.
Why are you waiting?
Yeah. And it's like, why are you waiting when you can be that love? You can,
Exactly.
maybe there wasn't love. I look at that too. It's like, maybe there wasn't a love moment in your day thrown onto you because God's giving you that opportunity to go do it for someone else.
Mhm.
Because now that you feel that void, now I feel like you kind of get that realization that, oh, someone else is feeling that void. Well, heck, maybe I can go show that love onto that person. And now they received love today. And I received love back today too, because of what I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yet we're so concerned about what the right hand's doing.
Yeah. And we are always waiting for that love, the human love. And God is like, I gave you eternal love.
Yeah.
I gave you my love. Is that enough?
It's done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's always people I think look like that. People who are, heavy church going or just, religious following people.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get lost in that of like always waiting for God to throw more onto them to feel something, to go to church and to feel something. And it's, when I used to go to church back in the day, it was like, yeah, you go to church and you just knock it out and you move on, and it was boring, those kind of things. And it's like, you see that a little bit in the youth today, and it's all of a sudden, my world changed of, I think Father Renze said that one time of like, are you coming to church with like questions? Like, do you read the gospel before and come in with questions? And like, are you offering something there? Even if it's just your curiosity or just something that you need answered. If you're not coming to church with something to give into church and to participate in church, why would you get anything out of it? You know, why would you? So I think that's the problem sometimes, is I think people are just expecting God to throw answers right into their brain. And it's like, if you're not open enough to receive God, why would there be anything? Because he's done enough. Like you said, enough has been done, and yet he still wants to give you that more. But for you to receive that more, I think it's up to you at that point a little bit.
And that more isn't more of this world.
No, yeah. Not more of this world. It doesn't even mean like do more in action, you know. It doesn't mean like you have to do more in that way, but just more of an open heart, I guess, would be my answer to that. An open heart, an open mind, be more flexible with those kind of things, with spirituality, I guess.
And it's always said, was it do less but be more?
That's a thing. I never heard that before.
Do less, like don't be a doer, but be a beer. Be more loving.
Yeah,
you don't do love,
and that shows just being more present. I think through that kind of practice. That's a good idea. We should be less.
Yeah. So that more
do less, be more. Yeah.
Right. Be a disciple of God. Be patient. Be loving. Be humble.
It's like in the prayer that you did at the talk that we just did when we were sitting in silence, and you just got to the point of be. You know, it's just like just be. Yeah. Things will come if you just sit and listen, you know. We're so ready to speak our minds and make sure I'm right, you know. And it's like, dude, instead just be.
Yeah, and that's what we call a human being and not human doers.
Yeah. That's funny. Human doers.
Yeah. And nowadays society is all about what? Doing,
yeah.
Right? If you're doing a lot, then you're valuable.
If you aren't first, you're last. And especially living in a place like, you know, Southern California, there's such that rush.
Oh, yeah.
I just told you that this week. Well, just right now. I was just like, I took a day off. What day was that? Was that yesterday? No, that wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday, which is what? Wednesday. But on Wednesday, you know, I tell you, like, I'm going to slow down for a minute, take a day off, go golfing or something, and just kind of relax. And yet the next day comes, and I feel like I lost a whole day, and I'm just behind. And it's like, why do I have to feel that way? I don't need to feel that way.
Yeah.
I just need to calm my own heart, because it's just, it's myself. It's my inner self freaking out when all I have to do is be, just be.
Yeah. And see the goodness in just being, right? See the fulfillment.
Yeah.
And allowing that present moment to fulfill you and not thinking about the next thing.
Yeah. And that's what happened.
It may not come.
Like that morning, you know, that next morning I had a little bit of a curveball, and yet once it all happened and I was able to digest, and then I started, you know, working, it was a basketball game I had to go work that day. And it's like, once I'm there working and I'm finally able to just kind of be in that moment, because obviously I kind of have to be, it's everything kind of finally kind of went away. And it's like, you can kind of feel that of God kind of like rearranging. It's almost like he kind of came in, rearranged my day again for me. I was just like, dude, you know, there is time. You have time. You have time not only for yourself, but you have time, you know, you still have time to spend with me. You know, when you get home, spend some time with me, you know, and then you'll see you're even more at peace.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so that peace comes from that surrender.
Yeah. And that's what it is, you know. I'm getting better at that too, of just like when I'm a man of wanting to be in control. Like when my day is falling apart in front of me, I freak out. And then I start, you know, throwing, you can even say throwing, I don't want to say throwing hate, but it's almost like that, of just like negativity, I guess. Throwing negativity at things all happening around me when none of it is their fault to begin with, you know? And it's crazy. Instead, just not to lean on your own understanding.
Why do you feel that many times we like control so much?
Why do I feel that?
Yeah, like many of us, many people like control, right?
Yeah.
Or it's the majority of people.
Well, I think it's just fear. Honestly, I think it's the fear of, you know, not knowing what's happening next. I think in the past, I think people, you know, looked forward to that, not knowing. And now living in this world of having all of the information you ever need in your palm, it's weird to not know what happens next. It's weird to not know what's happening in Africa right now, you know, because, and it's like, that's a normal thing. And I heard something like that before, that God didn't want us to know what's happening on the whole other side of the world, because he wants you to be more present with yourself and be present with your surroundings. So I think we'd like to have that control, just because simply we just want to know what's happening next. So we want to be prepared. We always want to be prepared for something that's happening. And it's like, you don't need to be. No. Because all you need is, like, I mean, what we were just saying, all you need is love, and just that that presence with God to be prepared for anything and everything that comes your way.
And it goes back to almsgiving, right? Many times almsgiving is that surrender of control.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
You don't know how that person's going to receive your gift.
Yeah.
And that happened to me before.
Yeah. That's happened to me actually a few times. It'd just be like, I'll simply want to give someone, water on the streets, but they're looking for cash. And it's like, they don't even want the water. I'm like, you don't even want water, but they just don't want it. And yet I get offended by that. And it's like, dude, they just don't want it. Move on.
It's not you, it's me, right?
Yeah. It's just, that's where it's funny. And it's like, well, I did what I could do, I guess. And that's all you can only do so much. If they're not going to accept your gift, they're not going to accept your gift. And
Not very much so, but it's the act of giving, right? We fulfill the fact that we loved.
yeah.
Right? Not the fact that, that person didn't like what we loved.
Was it a sin?
Right. No, it's not a sin. No. That's not philosophy. What's a sin? Just do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's how do you spread that love in this time of Lent, really, and not just focus on the fasting and the prayer, but the prayer should produce what? Charity.
Yeah.
When you pray, the way that we evaluate the effectiveness of your prayer is if you're more charitable.
Yeah.
Not because you pray more.
Yeah. And that's been a learning curve for a lot of people, I think, when it comes to prayer, is that praying isn't to really benefit you a lot of the times. I mean, you're supposed to just be giving, gratitude and thanks to God for, A, B, and C, and D that happened that day, or, something that happened in the past and you're finally realizing it. But, it's not a Christmas list. No. Praying is not a Christmas list. And it's like, I think people look at it that way. And again, they're expecting God to just throw things onto them. And instead, maybe he's giving you that opportunity to be charitable. Maybe he's giving you that opportunity to go love and do something today. But it's up to you to say yes, because that's the free will that we're given.
But we're so used to this, like I said, the culture is all about the getting, right? Me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when we pray, it's like, God, give me that peace. Give me that consolation. Heal me, or whatever, heal my friend, whatever it is. But it's all about me.
Yeah.
Right.
There's an awesome, what movie is that? It's not Bruce Almighty, but it's Evan Almighty. They're like second little thing, but it was, Steve Carell plays, Noah, I guess the new Noah, and he has to build an ark. All these kind of things. But I remember there's a scene in there that's so good. And I carried it forever, which is so funny. Morgan Freeman, man. But they're at the restaurant. It's a restaurant, and the wife of Steve Carell, not obviously his real wife, but the character is at a little chicken and fries like restaurant. And Morgan Freeman playing God, he comes in and he's working there. And she's obviously distraught. He asks if she wants a refill on her chicken and fries, and he sits down, and he basically, just long story short, he just basically says, like, do you think God gives the gift of courage, or does he give you an opportunity to be courageous? Do you think God gives you the gift of love, or does he give you an opportunity to show love and be love? And then the final one is because she's concerned that Evan is not giving time to the family because he's out doing that, and he says, do you think God gives you the gift of family, an opportunity to be together? I mean, gives you the gift of family, but does he give you the opportunity to be together, to do something and share time together? And that's where it kind of hits her of like, I should be supporting my husband, and I should be going out there and helping him, and then finding that in that, being charitable and helping and supporting another, you're going to get the thing that you've been desiring. And then he walks away, and then the chicken and fries is randomly filled up too.
But that's awesome. That's an awesome story, and
That's my favorite part.
I never watched that movie, but
Really? You should
I never
watch
watched
it.
it, yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. But that's why I like that simple last moment of her basket being empty. And then when he walks away, it's full again. I love that imagery sometimes to me. I think that's like my favorite part of that whole scene, because she's sitting there feeling empty, encounters God. And the moment he leaves her to go, do what she feels called to do, she's fulfilled. Everything's full.
Beautiful.
I love that little quick imagery. It's so good.
So it goes back to the idea of almsgiving. Like, when you give, you receive. As well.
Yeah.
Right? You're not losing, but you're gaining.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea as well. It's like, how do you see that the time you give for the Lord, or even the things that you give to the Lord, is not a loss but a gain?
Yeah. And like what you say, like, I think people are so quick to look at the me in it. And, I think if you're looking with those eyes, you're gonna feel the loss more than the gain.
Sure.
Because it's not about you. It's not. It's about everything, I think, moving in a constant, universal motion. And so you just gotta, I don't know, just gotta be.
Yeah, just be and cultivate awareness. Awareness is so important nowadays. Like all the distractions, like you said, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. It doesn't mean that you don't become aware. You become more aware of who God,
Yeah,
and not your human flesh. I think that's what it's also saying. Like, don't focus too much on the flesh. Focus on God, and everything else will be focused on that charity and that love.
Yeah, it's just important to discern His voice within you. I think, because that's where I think a lot of people struggle is, we can sit there and be quiet and listen for God's voice, but if we don't really know His voice within us, we'll never actually understand if it's Him or if it's not Him or those kind of things. And it just raises question. I think people freak out in those moments of uncertainty and questioning within themselves. Am I going crazy? Those kind of things.
Yeah.
I remember when I first ever heard God's voice, that's what I literally said that. I was like, I think I'm going crazy. Because it's not your voice. Like, it's not, it's like, what the heck? Because my brain would be thinking something else, but yet in my heart, I'm getting spoken to. And it's like, dude, which one? You start playing with the mind and the heart, and you're like, which one is it? And you kind of freak out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to really discern, which discern because of the Latin word discernere, decipher, or to sift out the voice of God, because there's so many voices that are in our mind.
I think that happens with almsgiving a lot of the time when people want to, what you said, when we're like coming off the freeway off ramp or something, there's a homeless person there. I think all these things and thoughts throw in your brain and everything. And you just gotta remember, like, I think that's when you gotta sit back.
What happened? The light.
Yeah, sorry, the light.
That's right.
The light. I see the light. I don't see the light. But yeah, I just think it comes to a moment of sitting back again and just being understanding and finally finding that voice through you, that one voice that is a little louder, I think, than the other sometimes.
And that's where passion, conviction, and liveliness comes from. And going back to your earlier, you said people are so bored these days because when they go to mass, I'm so bored, or you experienced that when you were younger. Well, the definition of boredom is a person or a thing that lacks passion or conviction. Right? So how can mass be boring when the mass is the passion of the Lord Jesus Christ?
I know. That's what I look at it now, and I just look back, I'm like, how do you not think that's just the coolest thing ever? Like, you get to be in the presence of God like that, it's just there. Like, he's just there. And it's just like, we just, I think, don't look at it that way. But there's like a study about that, right? Like 60% of Catholics today don't actually believe the Eucharist is the true
60, I think
body.
60 or 70, I forgot. Yeah, around that.
It's something like that. And that blows my mind. This is like, that's what, so it's just so cool. I don't know why.
And it's sad and disappointing because a lot of times God, in His manifold wisdom, gave us the Holy Spirit of Pentecost, right? He gave it Himself, but we haven't cultivated that awareness or even that relationship with the Lord in a way where the father needs to, or the mother needs to cultivate it for them as children, because they themselves are bored by their own life or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's bored by their own life, but then it's also like, I think that's what I love about Catholicism, really. It's, the traditional side of Catholicism is that, obviously it started of Jesus was not of this world, and like our religion should not be of this world. So like, I think when people get bored at mass and they're like waiting for that, where's the giant production? Where's all the big TV screens and all the fancy lights and all these things? And I'm like, well, sit back for a minute. It's not of this world. I look at it that way. Like, my Catholic faith is, I can practice it on earth and do these things, but it's not of this world. Sitting in those four walls of a church, I always feel there's a moment of being separated from the earthly things that are happening in my life and those kind of things. And like, that's why I look forward to mass now. Again, back in the day, I don't think I understood that separation, but now it's like, man, you can take that opportunity to just close the door on the world and just be in a sacred spiritual area. And I think that's just something that people are missing in that moment. Because I guess they're just more concerned about what they're eating after church.
Yeah. No, you're right. They're distracted and they are not focused on God. Right? They're fulfilling, you say, the checkmark list of Christmas, right? I do this, and this. Sunday I went to mass, I fulfilled that. Now what I'm thinking about is lunch and dinner. And it becomes a task.
Yeah.
Right?
not even just a task, but like a mundane task of just like you're just doing these things to check off the boxes.
Yeah, and it becomes work. Remember we said last.
Yeah, yeah. Becomes work, and then where's the humility in it? You know, where's the charitability? Where's all those things when you're just doing it that way? And that's why I think almsgiving is such an important thing, because I just think it gives you that moment of really, you know, stepping out of a comfort zone almost and becoming not a perfect, but like a better image of what, you know, Christ and God and all, you know, all that stuff was looking forward to in man. Of like, you know, it might take, it's 10 minutes of your day, but in those 10 minutes you were doing something not of this world, I think, of these days. Because who gives, you know, you don't ever hear anybody looking forward to giving something to a homeless person. And so being in that moment, I think, is very powerful.
Yeah. So can you say that prayer, fasting, almsgiving is the tools, or even like the direction plan where we enter into the other world?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a quick stairway to heaven for dummies or something.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah. I like that. Now that you say that, I'm going to challenge myself to do that. Of like, anytime because obviously there's always moments of like, I wouldn't say doubt anymore in me, but just more of like can I keep this engine going this long? You know, like, like always being on fire. I mean, that's a lot of work, you know, and it's a lot of, I mean, spiritual warfare, like what we always like to talk about, but it's not really a like Satan coming in or anything, but just more of just those evil thoughts of just kind of just wanting to kind of slow down. And it's, I think in those moments now, I'm going to kind of challenge myself to remember, you know, those three: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, and see what happens. I wonder, that'd be kind of a cool experiment.
Yeah, it becomes a rhythm of life, right?
Yeah.
And even St. Mother Teresa says, give until it hurts.
Yeah.
And what hurts is your pride.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Because I remember a time recently, there was a homeless on the streets, and I knew like I had like $200 in my wallet. Then I said, you know what? I can't break this $100.
Yeah.
Then I said to myself, you know what? Just give them 100.
That is so funny.
Right.
I'm so guilty of that too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you said it's like the 20.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, dude, it's $20. Let's give it away. Yeah. Especially now these days when it's $20 anymore, you know? But it's like, I always think of that, of just like, oh, I wish I could break this, and then I would give it to you. And it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's hard to let go of that pride and that sense of like, oh, I keep this for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what are you going to spend it on?
Exactly.
McDonald's, you know? That's like, what the heck?
It's crazy. It's crazy how we operate in the mind, right? So let us continue to allow ourselves to that freedom to not let the left hand know what the right hand is doing.
I love that. Live in that, you know, live in that freedom, because it's such a fun freedom.
It is.
It's like, that's my new thing. It was like embracing the fact that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, isn't that exciting? Like, I think that's so exciting.
I think so too.
That's another movie. I need to stop watching movies, man. But that's a Night Out of the Museum. Okay. The Teddy Roosevelt character tells the Ben Stiller, because he's a night guard or something, but he got fired, and he literally tells the character, he's like, I don't know what I'm even going to do tomorrow. And he's like, how exciting. Like, isn't that great? Just like step into that unknown without understanding and just lean on God and see what happens, you know?
But it is. It's exciting to not know what's going to happen. Just like reading a book or watching a movie.
Yeah.
Imagine you watch a movie, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to watch it.
Yeah.
You know,
that is a tactic, though.
Yeah.
Totally off topic right now, but that's a tactic in like horror films and well, not horror films, but like scary thriller films or any kind of film, really. But that's the thing viewers like, and that's why people build movies that way. They like you to know, the viewer, they get to know something the character in the movie doesn't, and so you have a power over that character now on the film, and that's what gets you kind of into a movie. Fun fact. Yeah. So that's why when people are like, don't go in that door, don't go over that door.
Yeah.
That's something that they're literally doing on purpose. So the random girl running in scary movies, she knows what she's doing, all right? It's a tactic.
it's a methodology, man. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Crazy. Anyways, that's my almsgiving to you.
Thank you very much.
I'm giving you fun
The
facts.
next time I watch a horror movie, I'll think about that. Don't go to that door, please. Joe told me don't go to that door. Which I don't watch horror movies, so...
I can't really watch them anymore.
It's a gateway.
I can't really watch them anymore.
It makes me afraid.
Well, yeah, and then it's like gone to that point. It's like, why am I even scaring myself for no reason?
Yeah.
Like, it's just stupid.
Yeah, that's another topic in itself. But yeah,
Hey, maybe that could be a topic for next week.
Yeah.
Write that down. Anyways, learn to give full-heartedly, and just remember to use prayer, fasting, and almsgiving as a quick, not a quick, but quick, easy way to keep your life peaceful. I think that'd be good. So with that, we say stay fresh.
and stay faithful. God bless.
Yeah, dude.
Cool. That wasn't short.